How's it going, friends? I have these two hops Zacian boxes that are taking up too much space, so let's go ahead and open them. And as we do this, I want to talk about I do want to talk about something, but today what I really want to do is kind of give you a little mental exercise, okay? Because one of the many classes includes a new photo sticker. Okay. One of the many classes that I've taught over the years is government. And I've always enjoyed teaching that class for a lot of different reasons. Most importantly to me is the fact that it goes under the radar. Most of the time, government is taught by a coach who really does not want to be a teacher, but is, assigned the social studies classes, blah, blah, blah. And I have nothing against, teachers who are coaches. I have nothing against that, but I do have a problem with people who are just coaches and then, are supposed to be teaching at the same time, and that's not really their main thing. They like sports. And so, yeah, I do have some problems with that. But there are a lot of great teachers who also coach. So no harm, no shade there. Okay. And here's what's in here. Now, again, thing is, there's two. Oh, it's hops Wooloo, which evolves into hops Double. And then we got hops Zacian. And then we got this sticker that looks like a Polaroid. Cute. But this is whatever. Okay. So, again, I really enjoy teaching Gov because it's practical, right? I mean, current events are always happening. Government is always doing something. And further, it is relevant to your life. And I know that so many people are like, I hate government. I hate the news. Blah, blah. I get it. I do. I just threw something out of my bag. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Anyway, so yeah, people complain about it all the time. The news is depressing, blah, blah, blah. I hear you. I get it. Okay. And a lot of times people are like, your vote doesn't even matter. If we're talking about presidential elections, you could perhaps argue that because of the Electoral College, yada, yada. I wouldn't, but you could, definitely, and I would not, it is what it is. But the Electoral College is a whole other video. However, people always pay attention to, presidential politics the most, and that's fair because it's the most, famous one, but the local politics matters more, generally speaking. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself here. However, let's do the older ones first, and then we'll go here. So we have we got 2 Obsidians, 2 Surgings, and 4 Journey Together. Okay. Let's start off with Charizard. Okay, long story short, I just said all that, but I want you to think about something, okay? Because something that's funny about teaching government is that the kids are always like, Miss, what party are you? What are you? And I always tell them, if you pay attention to what I talk about, you know what political parties are, you can figure it out. I'm not trying to hide anything. But, we got a hit on the first one. But, that's a cutie. But, I always want them to have all sides of the issue, and therefore they can come to their own conclusion. So, one way that I like to start this off with for my Gov class at the beginning of the year, my very first lesson is oftentimes a little I've had it a few different ways, but normally a little simulation kind of thing where they get into small groups, and then basically I have them pretend oh, you're stranded. Let's go. Both of these, but it's Obsidian Flames. I do love Obsidian Flames, but I've never hit either of these cards. Look, she's so cute. What is her bag of key? 2 stars. Nice. Wow. This is awesome. Okay. Let's go with Archelodon first. So I like to start off with, again, them in small groups. and asking them, like, pretend, you're on a deserted island or whatever, and let's just, this is more complicated than that. I'm making it sound like dumb, but I try to have them think about, what is the purpose of a government, right? Now, obviously, if you're on a deserted island, you have a problem, like an obvious problem, which is to get saved. But let's pretend like you're just making a new society, right? What do you want your government to do? What is the purpose? Is there a government? If there is a government, why is there a government? What is the purpose of this, right? And a lot of times there's a piece of trash I'm trying to separate. A lot of times it'll be like to protect people, right? And like to protect our society, so there needs to be a military. Okay, cool, right? So it's like basic stuff. Like, that's all I'm trying to get them to do. So surging really did not do much for us. But now we're heading on to journey together. Which one should we end on? Zacian. Let's end with Zacian because this is his box. And then let's do the 2 doubles first. So I want you to think about that. It's a little mental exercise. Pretend you're starting a new society. That you have the land. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Don't worry about the logistics. Let's just say you're starting this new place. Look at all of these like squirrels. That's wild. That's cute. I do like Cramorant. I just think he is so derpy. It just looks like he's no idea what's going on. And I see that vibe. In your Snorlax, in your society, what would be the purpose of the government? Think about that. Because, it depends, right? It's not that easy of a question. But I would say that over the years, when doing this with, I don't know, hundreds of kids, the same kinds of things pop up towards the top. Normally it's safety. And safety can have many different meanings, right? Because it can be, again, physical safety. What? That's an error. That's cool. It's upside down. That's unusual. It's not one that I care for, but it is a cool looking card. Then you have the stars and the lightning. And it was upside down. Weird. 2 more. Now, again, safety can mean multiple different things. It could be that we have a military that can kick everybody else's military's butt, which is a good thing, I think. And, it could be also food security, for instance, or people having health care and people having an education. Again, normally, I think this one's very off-center. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. Like this line, this edge border looks thicker to me than this side. Okay, last pack. In 2025 America, I think it's safe to say that we as a people should agree that we should have a great military. I'm cool with that. I want our military to be the best military in the world, period. I don't want to have to really worry about that. I also want all of our people to be educated to the extent that they want. Okay, and I'm not saying that it should be free forever and ever, whatever. But everybody should have a high school diploma. Like, I don't think that's a crazy bare minimum. I'm a high school teacher, so I'm a bit biased. And I know that not everybody can get one. I get that. But my thing is, I think that most people would think that children should be protected. I think that most people think that's like dinged up the top right here. It doesn't look that great up at the top. Yeah. I don't know what's up with this card. I've never gotten it before though, so I'm not mad. And I've never even seen this card. I didn't know. But again, as Americans, our government has been deleting things like USAID, and now literally children are dying around the world because they don't have access to food and medicine that we've given them. And I think that's ridiculous. I think that if we have the ability to give people food, we should do it. If we have the ability to give people medicine, I think we should do that. And especially if it's about children, I think that is perfect. And I do think that that aligns with American ideals. Not that it always has. I mean, child labor, like severe child labor, was still happening in the 1900s. And it's still happening today. Okay. But generally speaking, I think that if you were to poll Americans, if you were to ask them, what do you think the government should do? I think the bare minimum would be to help children have food, to help children be safe, to help them with medical bills, for instance. Like, nobody should have to go into extreme debt because their kid gets cancer or something horrible happens to their kid, because it happens. And no kid should get cancer. No kid should, need a amputation or whatever it is, right? And so to help all kids, I think that's fine. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the Republicans do not have ethics. They used to. I think they used to. When I was growing up, I was a Republican because I thought that they were the party that cared about things. Now, again, I get it. I understand how times have changed, okay? And you could argue that they were never for that, whatever. Totally understood. All I'm saying is, when there's this big, beautiful bill that has been passed that takes money and food away from children and people who are disabled, that does not make sense to me. There is a lot of money to cut. I hear you. Children and disabled people are not where the cuts should be. So again, I just want you to think about that. I want you to think, if I were to make my own government, what is the purpose of my government? If we're going to collect money, what are we going to spend the money on? Because I feel like if you were to argue that it should not go to children, that doesn't even make sense. Again, I'm a teacher. I'm biased. But I would say that there's a lot of people who are struggling, and children should not bear the brunt of that. People who are disabled should not bear the brunt of that. We should help our fellow humans, especially those who cannot help themselves, like children, because they're children. Think about it. What is the purpose of the government? And if you were in charge of the government, what would you spend money on? So we have that happy topic today, but we have Poppy right here, and she's having a good old time, as she should, because she is a child. Okay, that's it. That was two Zacian boxes, and we got nice polls from Obsidian, per usual. Nothing from Sparks, which is kind of unusual, and then nothing from Journey Together, which is normal for me too. All right, so until then, we will see what happens next.